All right, today I'll be taking you back to elementary school here and working with long division. So back in elementary school, you learn how to do long division with numbers, like these first three problems here. Today we're going to amp it up and be actually dividing polynomials using long division. So the other day we did all the operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and so the next 2 days we're going to be spending just on the division. So let's remember how to do long division. So let's look at this first problem here. 3, and you're doing 735 divided by 3. All right. The divisor is 3, and and your goal is to get the quotient here, what goes into it. So you ask yourself, how many times does 3 go into 7? Well, 3 goes into 7 2 times. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then you subtract those values. 7 minus 6 is 1. Now you bring down the next one. And you're asking yourself, well, how many times does 3 go into 13? Well, 3 can go into 13 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. Subtract them. I get 1. Drop down the next thing. And you get 5. How many times does 3 go into 15? Well, it goes in 5 times. 15. So you have a remainder of 0. So my answer would be 245. Okay, let's try another one. All right. So first question here, how many times does 4 go into 3? Well, it doesn't. So now we're going to ask ourselves, how many times does 4 go into 31? 4 goes into 31 7 times. 7 times 4 is 28. And we're going to subtract it. 31 minus 28 is 3. Drop down that 5. How many times does 4 go into 35? 4 goes into 35 8 times. 4 times 8 is 32. We're going to subtract them. All right, 35 minus 32 is 3. Drop down the 7. How many times does 4 go into 37? It goes into it 9 times. 4 times 9 is 36. We subtract them, and we get 1. So we call this a remainder. So my answer would be that 789 plus your remainder divided by your divisor, which in our instance is 4. All right, last one here. All right, how many times does 3 go into 4? It goes into it once. 3 times 1 is 3. Subtract it, and I get 1. Drop down the 5. How many times does 3 go into 15? Well, it goes into 5 times. 3 times 5 is 15. And I get 0. We're like, oh, well, 3 doesn't go into 0, so we drop down that 1. We're like, oh, well, 3 doesn't go into 1 either, so we need a placeholder here. We drop down the 2 then. How many times does 3 go into 12? Well, it goes into it 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 12 is 0. All right, drop down the next number. 5. Does 3 go into 5? Yeah, it goes into it once. 3 times 1 is 3. 5 minus 3 is 2. So my answer would be 15,041 plus your remainder of 2 divided by your divisor of 3. So we're going to take this same idea, but we're going to enhance it and make it an algebra 2 question. So here's our first problem. We're going to take 3x cubed minus 4x squared minus 28x minus 16. We're going to divide it by x plus 2. So we got to set it up first. Organization is really important here, guys. So, oops. So we put your divisor on the outside, x plus 2, divided by, and everything underneath. So same thing, you're trying to match that divisor, this outside number, to each of the terms in there. So what we're going to look at first here, okay, we're going to try to get x to look like 3x cubed. So what could you multiply x by to make it look like 3x cubed? Well, I can multiply x by 2x squared. So if I do 2x squared times x, that gives me 3x cubed because you want those numbers to match up. If you multiply the x by that value, you also have to multiply the 2. So what is 2 times 2x squared? That is 4x squared. Oops, sorry. Hold on. That's supposed to be 3. My bad, guys. Hold on. Made a silly mistake. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Try this again. We're trying to get x to be 3x cubed, so it should be 3x squared. There we go. So this gives me 3x cubed. 3x squared times 2 gives me 6x squared. What we're going to do, just like we did before, we subtract them. So we're going to subtract these two things. 3x cubed minus 3x cubed is 0. Minus 4x squared minus 6x squared is negative 10x squared. Drop down your next term. And we're going to start the process over again. Now we're trying to match this x squared. Oops. And we're trying to make it look like the negative 10. Oh, we cannot see that. Oop. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Can't see that highlighter at all, can we? So it's negative 10. Okay. We are trying to get this x to match up with negative 10x squared. How can I make x look like negative 10x squared? I can multiply by negative 10x. So I'm going to say negative 10x times x is negative 10x squared. Negative 10x times 2 is negative 20x. And we're going to subtract them. Negative 10x squared minus a negative 10x squared is 0. Negative 28x minus a negative 20x is a negative 8x. Drop down your next term. We've got negative 16. Final time around here. We're going to make this x match up with negative 8x. I'm sorry, guys. My dog's barking. How can I make x look like negative 8x? I can multiply by negative 8. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. We are going to subtract. Baylor. Negative 8x minus a negative 8x is 0. 16 minus a negative 16 is also 0. So my final answer here would be 3x squared minus 10x minus 8. And we're done. Okay, so long division is the same idea, just a little bit more complex. Now let's try one more problem here. Here's example 2. We've got 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6, and we're going to divide that by x squared minus 3x plus 5. Let's put the divider out there, and it's okay if we have 3 terms. It's just going to make it a little bit more multiplication. Minus 3x plus 5. 3x to the 4th minus 5x cubed plus 4x minus 6. All right, same idea. We want to take this, we want to match up x squared and make it look like 3x to the 4th. Well, I can make x squared look like 3x to the 4th by multiplying it by 3x squared. All right, so 3x squared times x squared is 3x to the 4th. 3x squared times negative 3x is negative 9x cubed. 3x squared times 5 is 15x squared. We're going to subtract all 3 of those from their terms. So I've got 3x to the 4th minus 3x to the 4th, which is 0. Negative 5x cubed minus a negative 9x squared. So that's negative 5x cubed plus 9x squared, or 9x cubed. So that's 4x cubed. Here's the issue, though. I have these 2 terms right here. 4x minus negative 15x squared. Those aren't matching up. They're not the same terms. All right, so not like terms. Baylor. So what we need to do here is we need to fill in that missing term. So if you look at this thing, we've got x to the 4th, x cubed, and then x. We're missing right here. We need to fill in that x squared. So we need to fill in missing term, which in this instance is our x squared. So we're going to say it's 0x squared. So when you have a missing term, you want to put that placeholder in to kind of help you out. So let's restart this problem with that placeholder in there. So we've got x squared minus 3x plus 5 3x to the fourth minus 5x cubed plus 0x squared plus 4x minus 6. Okay. Again, we're trying to match up x squared to 3x to the fourth. We said that would be 3x squared. So 3x squared times x squared, 3x to the fourth. 3x squared times negative 3x is negative 9x cubed. 3x squared times 5 is positive 15x squared. Now let's subtract all those things. 3x to the fourth minus 3x to the fourth is 0. Negative 5x cubed minus a negative 9x cubed is 4x cubed. 0x squared minus 15x squared is negative 15x squared. Drop down your next term. Let's start the process over again. We're going to match x squared to 4x cubed. I can make those look the same by multiplying it by 4x. 4x times x squared is 4x cubed. 4x times negative 3x is negative 12x squared. 4x times 5 is 20x. We're going to subtract both of those. 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. Negative 15x squared minus a negative 12x squared will give me negative 3x squared. 4x minus 20x is negative 16x. Drop down your next term, negative 6. Let's restart the process one final time here. We're trying to match up x squared to negative 3x squared. We can do that by multiplying it by negative 3. Negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times negative 3x is positive 9x. Negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And we're going to subtract those values. Negative 3x squared minus a negative 3x squared would be 0. Negative 16x minus 9x would be negative 25x. Negative 6 minus a negative 15 would become positive 9. Now, if we try to keep going, we can't make x squared go into negative 25x, right? The degree is too high, so we would call this our remainder then. And just like we did before with the numbers, when we write our answer, we write the number we got on top plus your remainder divided by your divisor. So I would say my final answer here is 3x squared plus 4x minus 3 plus my remainder, negative 25x plus 9. Just the remainder is divided by that quotient